Ever feel like you're juggling chainsaws, trying to make that work-life balance thing actually work?
Right.
Like, wouldn't it be amazing if work could just, I don't know, fit itself around family life instead
Right.
of the other way around?
Totally.
Well, we're diving into this article, The Benefits of YouTube for Mothers, and it got me thinking, what if moms could actually build businesses, real businesses, around stuff they're already passionate about?
It's interesting.
All while wearing yoga pants, obviously.
Right. And I mean, this really ties into that whole passion economy thing that's been going around, where people are turning their hobbies, the things they love, into income.
You know, forget about toddlers accidentally going viral.
Oh,
Though, hey, if it happens, it happens.
yeah.
This article is about moms creating, like, legit businesses on YouTube.
It makes sense when you think about it. It's about flexibility, having control, those things that are often missing when you're raising a family. And moms especially. I mean, they're already experts in so many things.
Right. We're, like, secretly running corporations from our kitchens.
Yeah. Exactly.
Meal prepping on a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
Solving kid-related chaos with, like, nothing but a paperclip and a prayer.
It's true.
And YouTube lets you take all that hard-earned wisdom and turn it into content that other moms are actually out there looking for.
It's a ready-made audience, right? I mean, who better to understand a mom who needs a quick, healthy recipe?
That your kids will actually eat.
Exactly. Or like how to keep kids entertained on a rainy day.
Another mom who's been there. Not like some CEO who hasn't seen a sippy cup since, I don't know, 1998. Plus, imagine setting your own hours. Work during nap time, after bedtime,
Right.
whenever inspiration strikes.
Well, your own boss. And the article really highlights that. That autonomy is huge, especially for mothers who need to work their schedules around their family, without having to ask permission.
Speaking of autonomy, think of the creative possibilities. I mean, cooking channels, DIY, educational stuff for kids, fitness routines for when you're, like, completely pressed for time. Like, your hidden talents could be your brand.
Right. You're not starting from scratch. You're leveraging your existing skills, your passions, and that's what's so empowering about this whole passion economy thing. You could be that mom who builds her whole business around like organization hacks or throwing amazing birthday parties on a budget.
Okay, now we're talking. And it's not just about the ad revenue anymore either.
Oh, yeah.
The article mentioned sponsorships, affiliate links, even selling your own products. Your channel could be like a launch pad.
It's important to remember, though, to build something substantial, to generate that kind of income, it takes time, like with any business. The article is realistic about that. It makes you ask yourself, what unique value can you offer that people would pay for?
So it's not just about the views. It's about making those views valuable. That's when things get really interesting. And it's not even all about the money either, is it?
Right.
They also talked about community building.
And that's huge. Parenting can be, I mean, let's face it, it can be isolating sometimes. But finding other people online, having that shared experience, especially other moms, that support system is incredible.
It's like having a virtual village,
Exactly.
a more personal version of those, like, online parenting groups.
Right.
You know, you can actually see the person giving you advice.
And build those deeper connections.
Okay, so on a totally practical level, the article mentioned something about outsourcing to make all of this more manageable.
Well, yeah, delegating tasks, that's just smart no matter what kind of business you're running. It frees you up to focus on what you're good at, what you enjoy.
Totally. They mentioned video editing, which, duh, who wants to be stuck on a computer when you could be, like, wrestling a toddler into pajamas?
Right.
But they also mentioned outsourcing things like thumbnail design, which I never would even thought of.
But those things matter.
Yeah.
That's your first impression.
Like choosing the right book cover, right?
Exactly. It needs to grab your attention.
And get this, you can even outsource content ideation. Feeling stuck?
Yeah.
Hire someone to help you brainstorm.
It shows that investing in your business, even in small ways, can make a huge difference. Think about it. More time for the parts of your channel you enjoy because you've handed off the stuff you don't. More time with family because you hired help. Next level.
Outsourcing parts of the business.
Sounds like a dream.
Right. Less time editing.
More time with the kids.
Or, like, dare I even say it, me time.
Huge.
But, okay, let's be real for a sec. That all sounds amazing, but is it, like, too good to be true? What about the downsides?
I think that's smart to be cautious.
Yeah.
While the article really focuses on the benefits, it does say that, success on YouTube isn't automatic.
Right.
It takes work.
So it's not just uploading a montage of cute kid moments and then watching the ad revenue just roll in.
Not
Let-
quite.
Ah.
It really emphasizes being strategic.
Yeah.
You need to understand your audience,
Right.
make good content,
Yeah.
and then you have to market it effectively.
It's like YouTube is the storefront, but you still need like the whole business plan behind it.
Exactly. And that takes time and energy,
Yeah.
which, let's be honest, can be a challenge for moms who are already juggling a million things.
Right. Finding the time for all of that, plus like the mental energy.
Huge hurdle for a lot of people.
And then there's the whole technical side.
Right.
Even with outsourcing, you still need to know the basics,
Yeah.
like how to optimize videos, engage with their audience, all of that.
It can definitely feel overwhelming for sure. The article doesn't try to hide that. There is a learning curve.
For sure.
You'll need to spend some time understanding the platform, like what works.
Now, speaking of investing time, what about like the financial side of things?
Yeah.
How long until someone could actually expect to see an income from a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Asking for a friend who is really bad at delayed gratification.
Well, it varies. I mean, you hear those stories about people who become these overnight successes, but for most people, it takes a while
Right.
to build a big enough audience to actually make money. Yeah, it's important to be realistic about the timeline and be patient.
So maybe don't quit your day job just yet.
Probably a good idea to start it as like a side hustle,
Right.
something gradual alongside your other commitments. And then as your channel grows, maybe you can reevaluate.
Yeah. Build that safety net.
Exactly.
But even if someone never reaches that full-time income level, the article seemed to say there are other benefits to just having a channel.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it before. That sense of community can be incredibly rewarding, especially for moms or parents in general who are feeling that sense of isolation,
Right.
connecting with people who just get it.
Totally.
That's invaluable.
And even if you don't become the next, YouTube superstar, just creating and sharing your content.
Yeah,
That could be a great creative outlet.
absolutely.
Explore your passions.
Put your work out there. See if it resonates with people.
I never know.
Right. Even on a small scale,
You never know.
it could blossom into something bigger.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about the upsides. Flexibility, being creative, building that community, and yeah, potentially making money. But what about the flip side?
Right.
What should moms be aware of before jumping in? Because I have to imagine putting yourself and your family out there, like online, comes with its own set of challenges.
It does.
Yeah.
The article's honest about that.
Okay.
There are unique challenges to being, a mom in the public eye. Well, and some of them are very specific to having a family involved.
I was just going to say, what about dealing with negative comments or like people being critical online? That seems tough, especially as a mom. I mean, we're already our own worst critics most of the time.
That's true. And unfortunately, when you put yourself out there, you're opening yourself up to that. So being mentally prepared is important
Yeah.
because not everyone will like your content.
Right. Of course not.
Okay.
But still,
Yeah,
easier
yeah.
easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes practice. But finding that balance between being open to what people are saying, but also like not letting the negative stuff get to you is key.
You get to choose what you share.
Exactly. You don't have to reveal everything about your life or your kids' lives to be successful. You can set boundaries.
It's a good reminder.
You can be authentic without oversharing.
Right. It's your channel. It's your content, your rules. Speaking of rules, the article also mentioned something about like YouTube's guidelines, copyright, all of that. What's that about?
YouTube has community guidelines, rules that everyone has to follow. And if you break them, your videos could be taken down.
Oh, wow.
Or worse, your whole channel could get shut down. So it's not just about your content. You have to be aware of their rules too.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that serious.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to pour all this work into building a channel just to have it taken down over something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of things we might not think about right away, what about the impact on kids? If you're featuring your kids in your videos, are there things that you need to keep in mind?
That's a huge one, and the article makes a big deal about it.
Okay.
If your kids are in your videos, you have got to talk to them about it.
Right.
Get their consent.
Especially if they're old enough.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
be mindful of their privacy and well-being. I mean, just because you might be comfortable being in the spotlight doesn't mean that they are, and you have to respect that.
Their comfort and safety come first.
Absolutely.
Of course.
And even if you're not showing their faces or using their names, I still think it's important to have open communication with your kids about what you're doing and what it means for them and for your family.
Right. So they feel included.
Yes. Even if they're not directly involved.
Yeah. Keep those lines of communication open.
So important.
Okay. So we've talked about negativity, boundaries, copyright, how this all affects kids. What about the elephant in the room? Time management.
Right.
Building a successful YouTube channel, even with help, takes a lot of time and energy. How do moms balance that with, well, actually being moms?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The article talks about finding a schedule that works for you and your family.
Okay.
And it might mean early mornings or late nights or getting help with childcare.
Like grandma is officially on grandkid duty so mom can film.
Exactly. It takes a village.
For sure.
You don't have to do everything at once.
Right.
Start small, and then as your channel grows, you can adjust.
That makes sense.
And this goes back to what we were talking about with outsourcing.
Okay.
It can be a lifesaver, but it is adding another thing to your plate that you have to manage.
Finding the right people, communicating your vision, managing deadlines.
Right, it's like running a business.
It is.
And that takes skills that not everybody has. But if you're not naturally an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
don't worry. There are a ton of resources that can help.
Like what?
Online courses, workshops, communities of other creators, and even just like basic stuff. Books and podcasts, blogs, all with tips and advice.
So do your research, connect with other people, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Exactly.
It really does take a village.
It does.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
We
The
have.
good and the bad, the challenges, the time commitment, all of it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, is it worth it? What would you say to those moms out there who are intrigued, but maybe a little hesitant to actually take that leap?
That's the question, isn't it? And honestly, there's no one answer. It's a personal decision. But,
But for those moms on the fence, what would you say to them?
well, I'd say, yeah, starting a YouTube channel, it can be amazing, personally, professionally, but it's not something to jump into without thinking. It really comes down to weighing those rewards against the challenges, right?
So it's more than just how many views you get or how many subscribers.
Way more. It's about finding your voice, connecting with people, maybe even making some kind of difference. So for moms who need a creative outlet or a way to connect with other parents, I say go for it. Explore it.
Just do your research first, right?
Exactly.
Be ready to put in the work and don't be afraid to ask for help. And hey, maybe you'll inspire other moms to do the same thing.
Think about it. Moms supporting moms, sharing their stories, building businesses. That's powerful.
It really is. Okay, before we wrap up, something from the article really stuck with me. They said that moms are like a huge GE consumer market online, which, duh, but they were talking about it as an opportunity for YouTube moms specifically.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Marketers know this. Moms have a ton of buying power, and they're often the ones making the decisions about what their family buys.
Right. So the article is saying that moms creating content for other moms, they're in this unique position.
Totally. They get their audience because they are the audience.
Yeah.
That kind of authenticity, that's huge online.
Okay, but the article talked about boundaries too, right? Like, just because you're a mom with a channel, that doesn't mean you have to, like, sell out or make your family into a product to be successful.
Exactly. Being genuine is important, but not if it means compromising your values or your family's well-being. It's tough. Each person has to figure out where that line is for them.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, your kids are going to grow up, right? You want them to look back on all of this positive
Absolutely. It goes back to that balance we were talking
and
about.
everything in parenting.
It always does. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of moms on YouTube, what's the biggest takeaway? Like, what's that one thing our listeners should remember?
I think it's that there's no one right answer, right?
Right.
When it comes to finding work that you love that lets you be there for your family. But for moms who are interested in YouTube, who like the creative side, the community, that entrepreneurial spirit, it's something to look into. Just be realistic, be ready to work, and always, always put your family first. Perfectly said. And for anyone listening who's thinking, maybe this is for me, what would you recommend as a first step?
I'd say do a deep dive, but not into YouTube, not yet. Dive into yourself, what you're passionate about, what you're good at, what do you want to share with the world, figure that out, and you're already on your way.
I love that. Because who knows, maybe the next time we do a deep dive on YouTube moms, it'll be featuring one of our listeners.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would be amazing. All right, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next time.